Cool. Thank you so much for being here. The afternoon for us and the morning for you. We're very happy. We are in the barrel room with Magali, the export manager, and I am the brand manager. We'll do a quick tour of the winery first.
Yeah, so we're going to start now. Welcome everyone, and thank you very, very much for being here today with us. We're glad because right now is the perfect timing. It's the harvest time. We're going to start now with the tour of the winery because we wanted to show you how we pick by hand the different grapes when they arrive from the vine, from like. It's almost the end of the day now, so we are a little bit in the rush to show you. So we're gonna start the tour right now. I'm gonna, like Jeremy, gonna explain you everything, and after we come back to have a tasting of the wine all together. So let me just.
We switch on the cell phone, do the tour and walk in the winery. Hopefully we will meet one of our winemakers. There are several at the peak of the season. Everybody is working, they're doing a lot of hours. As you know, we have an outstanding vintage. We got enough sunshine during the summer and enough rain, so let's go.
Fantastic. So as they are switching to the cell phone to take us on the tour, we will spotlight. There we go.
There we go. Hello again. So let's go to the winery. So we're actually in the barrel room with the Burgundy oak and the big oak vats from 100 years old. Here, this is the oldest part of the winery, built and established in 1931. You can see here, they renovated this part. At the first beginning, it was the oldest part. Over here, this is the tank part, stainless vats, where we produce the light reds, the white and the rosé. Actually, we have some smell because the fermentation has already processed, and for some white is about to finish. We have a big piece of a pneumatic pressure here. We don't have any berries right now, but we can go on the bridge and see if we see something. Oh, look at the tank here. So you have the berries inside and just waiting to be on the crush pad. So we will go and sort the grapes. We hand harvest everything in Châteauneuf-du-Pape. So we don't use any machine in the vineyard. We call this sauterelle. This machine allows us to bring all the berries in the different tanks we use. In front of us, it's the road, a small village of Châteauneuf-du-Pape. Maybe we will see a piece this side. Yeah, we see the castle over here.
He is asking me to see the sea right now, like the beach from here.
You see the castle?
No, they can't.
Yeah. Small piece. And this is the biggest part where you find tanks. we call them Simon tanks. They allow us to produce all the red wine and to also book. Hello, winemaker. This is our winemaker, Cyril. Hello. Working very hard.
You're on YouTube with 25,000 million people.
25,000.
Yeah.
You're gonna
So
be very
say hi.
famous.
You're gonna be famous. No, it's Glenn's from Texas. They were like, yeah, right now.
What do you think about the 2020 vintage in a few words?
For now, we just harvested the whites.
Okay.
And some rosés. The first reds are pretty nice for now. I don't know for the future because it's raining.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for now, the quality is really great. In whites and rosés, the aromas are very almost perfect. So that's really good.
And we got 2 weeks ago, we got 30 millimeters in the region of water.
But that was good.
That was very good because.
But that's the next ones because on the next Saturday, normally it should rain about 30 millimeters, and it's not that good. So.
Okay.
So basically, you are looking for the weather every 5 seconds in your phone, right?
Yeah, every 1 second.
You're
check now.
Very stressy job, yeah.
No, it's okay. Even with 30 millimeters, it should be okay. But we are like waiting for now, and after we will be in a hurry to get the grapes because after the rain.
Yeah, so for them to understand, you're right now waiting to harvest.
Yeah, we are waiting for maturation of the grapes, and if it's raining a lot, we are going to harvest very fast. And that's the.
Cyril is the chief winemaker for more than 15 years, working for the Brotte winery. So this is the guy.
Okay, thank you, Cyril.
Have a nice tour.
Bye.
Bye.
So we have the chance to meet the chief winemaker. We go back to the barrel room. Actually, there is something very exciting. We have some Syrah fermented in oak from the Domaine Barbier. That's very nice. It's like doing some cuisine. Look at this. You see the dioxide here. All the yeasts are working and heating the sugar. This is 100% Syrah, 100% fermentation in Burgundy oak. I have another one here. You see? And we can show you. We actually, behind me, you can see yeah. So we're walking now in the vineyard with those things that we call.
Hey, sorry, we switched to the computer now because it was too complicated to have both together. So the infrared, we're one of basically what we wanted to do is to get only the first aromas of the Grenache. You know, the Grenache is something very sensitive. It's pure on the fruit, but it's very smooth grapes. And if you maturate them in like big vat like that, especially old vat or new vat, you're gonna have like aromas of vanilla, aromas of oak. And it's not something we are looking for, especially for our premium cuvee, which is the Secret Barville. So what we wanted to do is like we wanted to find a way to maturate them, but only with no oxidation at all. So we tried to elevate them, to mature them in this infrared, which is at the beginning we wanted to do the white only, but due to like very impressive results, we switched to the red also. So inside you have like 100% Grenache. So you're not gonna have anything of the wood, anything of the Syrah, of the vanilla you can have in oak barrel. Pure fruit, very smooth, very sensitive, no oxidation. This is for the 2019.
Okay.
Behind us, you can see there's the lab, because here, no, there is the lab here. Everything is tasted, of course, everything is controlled, because France, you know, we need to always control what we do.
Strict rules in France. Okay, so now let's go tasting the wines.
All right,
So
fantastic. So first of all, I have to tell you, thank you. That was an outstanding tour.
Just one thing before we go tasting. You see the difference here? These ones, those pieces, we call them Foudre de Chêne. They're century old. Those ones we use for a micro-oxygenation on the Grenache and the Syrah for a part of the Domaine Barville. And we recently bought 30 new pieces that we changed because we have to renovate them. So you have the young part here. Old parts, young parts. Okay.
Now the new ones, you're still, are they toasted on the inside? Are you looking for any oak influence at all? Or is it a very neutral environment as well?
In fact, what we're looking in our wine is something which is the most possible, like the most possible grape. So we don't want to add any secondary, tertiary notes. So we try to avoid that. So no oak, no vanilla. This is not something, this is not our style.
Perfect.
This is why we try to do, and for us, this is why we're doing a little barrel also. Much more like you see a lot of little barrel than big vats, because there is less oxidation and less transfer of this second and third aroma. After, the thing is like when you have a wine, you develop without second aromas like big barrel. When they're gonna age, you're gonna have this taste of cedar, very intense fruit of cherries, brandy. It's gonna be very interesting. You're not gonna have this taste of oak at all.
Great, perfect. So I did want to just mention to everyone who has got samples, we're gonna go ahead and get started with the whites. We're going to start with the Coteron Blanc, correct? The Viognier. Great. When you open up your bottles, we do fill them all the way to the very top to minimize air. So please make sure to open your bottles on a level surface and do not open them over your computers. We do not want to be liable for any blown out keyboards. All right, back to you.
Okay, so now we start with the Viognier. It's an 100% Viognier and a pure Viognier, very fresh. So we have on the market right now 18 and /19. This is a wine that we produce from the right bank of the Rhône River, just in front of Châteauneuf-du-Pape, at the other side of the Rhône River, in the Gard department. It's another small region where we have about 40 acres, and we have a fantastic Viognier that benefits of cool nights during the maturity and hot summer or warm temperatures during June, July, and August. But we definitely work here on the acid profile and the freshness, so we don't do the malolactic fermentation. Cheers.
And again, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask those questions in the chat window.
You can ask your question via the video, or then you can send us emails after the tasting, tomorrow, after tomorrow, if you have some questions going after.
Great.
So the Viognier, sometimes you got some heavy, very fat Viognier. Some are aged in oak. We definitely don't do it. Our philosophy is to get a clean and a greeny Viognier that we can drink, and that's not going to be too heavy, and you just have a glass and then you are finished. You can even drink the bottle. It's a big Viognier. I mean, it's a bodied Viognier. We have about 13.5% of alcohol in it, but you don't feel it because it's well balanced. Mm-hmm.
If you like like the Chardonnay or like the California Chardonnay, you're gonna like this Viognier, and it's very affordable. It's something that you can place easily for like at the glass in a restaurant. I know that restaurant right now it's not the target, but it's a wine. You have everything you are looking for in a Viognier. You have the flower, you have the fruit, you have the freshness, you have the very well balanced acidity. I think it's full of promise, and it's not a Condry. I say no fatty side.
We have Dupac for 5 generations. It's a family-owned winery, and we have been dedicated to produce high-end wines from the regions. We start with the Châteauneuf-du-Pape wines before even the classification, because the great grandfather that built and bought the first piece of vines was that was in 1880, and nobody won because it was too rocky, very dry, and so he's one of the first to have made the choice and the risk, and he did well. He did, and he started in the west side to have about 30 hectares, and then he extended the winery. This guy, his name was Léonce, the son, and his father Edouard Amouroux family. And this family is from the mother side of the current owner, who is from the fourth generation. But from his father's side, he built a négociant activity, and they joined together because the first generation married, the Amouroux family married with the Brotte family. So that's why today we have a company, a winery, with a wine growing side, with a very old vineyard that we call Domaine Barville. And from the father side, we have a merchant activity with a big winery and with a lot of vineyards in Châteauneuf-du-Pape, but also in Queyranne, Laudun, and Viognier, which is a vin de pays classification. So it's now an overhaul that works pretty well, because for now 30, 40 years, we're working with 95 countries. We export a lot, and the US market is among the top 5 market from the winery. And we're happy to have you today to share a piece of what we do during the harvest. Let's go to the second white wine.
Yeah, let me just introduce a little bit the Brotte family, because I think, as Jeremy said, it's very important for you to understand how it works here. So here it's 100% family business, so from the company. So you have 4 generations, and the fourth one are working all together. The grandfather, the father, and the son. They're all 3, I say 4, so the 3 generations are working together, but the son are now the 4th generation, like handling this activity. And what is important to notice is the woman, the mama, she is like doing the wine. She is the winemaker here. She is the wife. And the commercial part is handled by the father and one of the sons. And the vineyard part is handled by the mother with one of the sons. And you have the grandfather, which is here all the time around, like trying to, like keeping an eyes on the Brotte activity. So it's very rare to have here a company this size, but with this very family style, and you can find it in the wine. They're like putting all their heart in the wine they are doing. Sorry, we did like a little bit, but I think it was important to understand the company. Don't hesitate like to ask any question about them. They are nice people, so I hope you and everyone from here will have the chance to come here and to visit us and to meet them. So let's do the second wine, which is the Esprit Barville White. I will let you the time to. You got it, all of you? Okay. Some of you are already in the second one. We talk too much.
This is a blend of Grenache Blanc, Clairette, and Viognier. 60% Grenache Blanc, 20% Viognier, and 20% Clairette. We don't do any aging in oak. This is 100% stainless steel. And like the Viognier, we don't do any malolactic fermentation. The berries come from the Châteauneuf-du-Pape surrounded. We don't harvest too late in the day. We prefer to pick the berries early in the morning to keep the freshness. And this is a juicy and a easygoing Côte d'Iron Blanc with a good freshness and a big acidity. Sometimes you can get like the Viognier, some heavy Côte d'Iron White. This is not. This is well made, and this is my taste personally, because it's crispy and it goes with any kind of fishes, but also it can go with some chicken plates or any starters. For me, it's a very versatile white wine, and we should have this one on all the wine lists, because Côte d'Ivoire white, they have been improving the quality for the last 2 decades.
It's something like also a lot of flavor,
Lemongrass,
and a little bit
citrus,
of exotic fruits like the melon you can smell. It's something. It's not gonna be too acidic, but enough to refresh you. It's much more flowery and on the exotic fruits than the Viognier. It's a good introduction for the South of France wine. This style, as he say, we don't use any maturation in oak for this wine, because as the Grenache red, the Grenache white is something very precious also, with little grape. So you have to preserve the fruit, and the fruit can be crash if you put them in a barrel very easily. So we decided to put them in concrete tank. Like that, you keep only the aspect of the Grenache white.
This is a very long finish. Oh my God, I love it. You can have some apple, some exotic fruits, like Magali said. A touch of mango. It's very complex.
You don't have this second, third aroma who can come with the oak maturation. But you can keep it a little bit. If you keep it like 5 years, you're gonna have a little bit of roasted cafe aromas at the end. It's not something, of course, it's not a wine you can keep during 10 years because the fruit gonna like disappear. And the main goal of this wine is to give you fruit, acidity, and freshness. So if you keep it too long, you're gonna have like different aroma, but you're gonna like take off all the fruits and the freshness of this wine.
We prefer to have the Côte d'Ivoire white and the white from the region, except the Châteauneuf-du-Pape white. We prefer have them
young. You can drink them young. But the thing which is important is like all the wine you're gonna have and you're gonna sell, they are wine who are like ready to open and ready to put on the market. The Côte d'Ivoire, the Châteauneuf, the Viognier, whatever you're gonna have is not something like they need to age to have their old potential. You can open it and have a good wine with a long finish, like good acidity, good balance, good body, because we already matured them here. You can have like cheap Côte d'Ivoire on the market, but what happened is like this Côte d'Ivoire, they just like harvest and put in the barrel. So you don't have any expression of any fruit or any aroma on it. You need a little bit of maturation.
Yeah. Here the winemaker try to keep during 2 or 3 nights the berries with the juice in contact to extract the maximum of fruits and aromas, and he control the temperature with some fridge things in the tank, and that works pretty well because you get all the flavors from the berries, and this is how you make a quality Côte d'Ivoire white. Just going back on the classification, I think it's good to speak some words about the Côte d'Ivoire classification is the base here. We produce 52 to 55 this is the yield. The above 55 hectoliters per hectare, you cannot be classified as a Côte du Rhône. You go on the under classification, which is vin de pays or vin de table, or now the new appellation that we call here wine of France, vin de France. Then when you go up after Côte du Rhône, you will have Côte du Rhône village. So that's the next level. And the next level, the yield is better controlled, and it's smaller, because you can get Côte du Rhône village only if you vinify 42 to 45 hectoliters per hectare. And then you have all the cru, which are 50, 30 to 35 hectoliters per hectare, which are here Tavel, Lirac, Pomme de Venise, Rasteau, Vin Sobre, and I think there are 9. We also have now Kéran. So there are 9 in the southern Rhône and 8 in the northern Rhône. Those crus, they are the top wines, and they are the most restrictive wines produced in the region. So smaller production, and most of them, they need to be hand harvested, like Châteauneuf-du-Pape. Let's go to the third wine, if you are okay. This is the Côte du Rhône. So Côte du Rhône red. We produce less than the regulation of Côte du Rhône to get a better during 30 days. This is a blend of 85% Grenache and 15% Syrah, aged in those big oak vats that we call to 12 months. Then we bottle it. This is a piece of 2017. You maybe have the 2016, but it's okay, or the 2017 on the market. We are actually selling both.
The intensity of the fruit on this wine is just spectacular. Your bottle looks a lot bigger than ours.
Yeah. But we're 2. We need more. No, on this wine, like, you don't even need to taste it. Like, only with the smell, you have all the red fruit, all the aroma from the barrel, all this complexity, even for a Côte du Rhône, which is very rare.
Do you smell the licorice? You have like the licorice side. This is typically from the Grenache. And then you have those forest fruits like raspberry, and some jammy fruits like plums, or kind of dry cherries, I would say. And then you have also some undergrowth notes coming at the back of the wine. This is delicious.
Yeah. This one is perfect for every occasion. To be honest, it's not too complex, so you can have it for like any dinner or like any meal. But it offers you, because the maturation and this all that, it offers you this oaky finish with this long tasting at the end, on the cherry, on the like even brandy fruit, not at the Châteauneuf, but you can get it.
I really love this one. I haven't had since maybe a month or 2. Yeah. This is delicious. That's perfect. speaking retail, this about $13.99 or $14.99. It's a massive Côte du Rhône, a super premium quality, not a basic one. I love it.
This one is easy to sell because like people know a little bit about House of France style wine. They're absolutely looking for this smoothness of the Grenache and a little, this balance is very well controlling for Côte du Rhône because of the quality of the wine.
For me, it's like a baby Châteauneuf-du-Pape. Like a
Don't say that, Cyril's gonna kill you.
It's a baby Châteauneuf-du-Pape. No, honestly, I really enjoy it. I'm enjoying it now. But this wine can age about 3 to 4 years, no problem. It's gonna turn to something earthy, some on cedar notes, maybe like undergrowth, but you will. Yeah, rustic, but you will keep the bacony profile and the fruity side, but you will have, instead of having fresh fruits or forest fruits, you will go on something more jammy, like plums or cherry again, but more jammy, more dry fruits. So just to finish.
I'm like, Châteauneuf.
Yeah, we're going to Châteauneuf, no problem. This one, the secret of the maison, the winemakers source berries from Côte du Rhône village appellation. You remember? Côte du Rhône 52 hectoliters, Côte du Rhône village 42 hectoliters per hectare. So we source berries from higher quality, but we bottle the berries, the wine finished under Côte du Rhône appellation. So that's why you have a better quality of a standard Côte du Rhône.
Yeah, for you to understand, like for example, if you take like big harvest in let's say in the same square meter, you can have like liter brander and big brander. Why wine of liter brander are better? It's because you choose only the grapes or like church in fruit and the best one, and you take off the other wine so the grape gets some space to grow and to take more sun. So if they have more sun, they're like more charged in sugar, and so they're gonna be better. This is the difference. If you let a lot of grape in the same vine, I mean, you're gonna have more juice, but less quality.
Let's go on the
Let's go on the Châteauneuf.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So Châteauneuf-du-Pape, Les Hauts-de-Barville. As you see, a lot of our wines name Barville because Barville is the whole name from the Brotte family. So we just taste the Côte du Rhône, which is Esprit Barville, meaning made in the spirit of our domain in Châteauneuf-du-Pape, Esprit Barville. And this is Les Hauts-de-Barville. This is a good introduction of what we do on Châteauneuf-du-Pape. For having something more traditional, we start to make this wine 6 years ago with a century of vats for the aging, instead of the Domaine Barville that we'll taste after, which is the single estate. But very different profile.
Yeah. What you're gonna understand with these two wines that we have to taste together and you have to make them taste, it's the same thing as like Grenache and Syrah, but the main difference of these two is where the vines are located. One, like the Hauts de Barville, the vines are like the younger vine, and they're located in an area where you have sand, like the beach, exactly like the beach, and pebbles. And the other one is doing in vine, like a little bit more edged, and in this big.
We got it.
Yeah, you're the one in this. So what that do is like during the day it takes the sand, like all the sand, and during the night when it's going fresh, all the sand you have inside it like goes in the earth, so the vine can be always a lot of difference during the tasting. The other one, the other Chardonnay, the Eau de Baville, the vine are in the sand basically, so that dry very easily the rain, which offer like wine. Let's say a style much more fresh, based on the freshness, based on the acidity, like less complexity. You're gonna see, but it's very interesting to take these two one together, like to understand. So let's do the Eau de Baville first.
So the Eau de Baville, it's a combination of 70% Grenache Noir. Yes. 20% of Syrah and 10% of Mourvèdre. So we do an aging in those vats for 12 months. So what we want here is a traditional Châteauneuf du Pape, an affordable cuvée with a good intensity, a lot of flavors, characteristics of big Châteauneuf du Pape, because the berries from the shaded limestone, the wild ones, the sands, and those ones, the pebble.
You see this side, it's very easygoing Chardonnay du Pape. You have this long lacing, but at the nose, and when you taste it, you got all the fruit, like explosion of fruit of the Grenache, and at the end you have a little bit of this Syrah and this Mourvèdre, giving you this long lasting. You can age it during like 15 years, this one, and same, if you age it, you're gonna have like this note of leather, of coffee, roasted fruit on your mouth.
The more you wait, more you will have orange color of the wine, and it turns to red to orange tints, and obviously the bouquet changing, like Magali said, changing something more earthy.
It's something you can drink young. It's done to drink it young, like 3 year, 4 year. It's perfect because you're gonna have all this fruit flavor and this long lacing. If you age it, I don't think. I mean, it's not my taste, but you can absolutely looking for other aromas like secondary or third.
Yeah.
So let's taste the Domaine Baville in the same time while you already have this in mouth.
If you have another glass, that would be perfect.
Yeah.
To make the differences. Personally, we don't, so.
Jeremy, right now we have the 2015 vintage and the 2016 vintage in stock. Can you talk a little bit to the two vintages there from Brotte?
We're going back to 2016 vintage now, yeah. We had a small amount of 2015 going in the market, but 2016 is now back. So
Can you talk a little bit about the vintages?
Of course. à propos des millésimes. Usually in the Rhone Valley, we don't have bad vintages for more than 10 years. 2008 was okay. 2002 was terrible because we had a lot of rain. But beside those two, we have great to outstanding vintages. The 15 vintage was a great vintage with enough acidity, a good color of the berries, and a good intensity. We made a great wine that we keep for the Châteauneuf-du-Pape Brotte. We can age those wines for 10 years. The 2016 was great to outstanding because we had more rain. And speaking about the grapes themselves, they were just perfect when we harvest. We didn't have any pourriture noble. We didn't have any like mushroom. Everything was just perfect. We didn't even have like some acids when you pick it too late in the vineyard. So that was a perfect sanitary conditions, yeah. And no rains during the harvest. Like Cyril mentioned, it can change every time if we have rain during September. And so 16 is considered here in Châteauneuf-du-Pape and in the overall region like the best vintage we made over the last decade. This is on every magazine, and that's the voice of every grower here. And we're sure about that. No doubts. So 16 is the wine to lay down in your cellar and wait. And going now on the newest vintages. 17 was at the level of the 15, and 18 was a great vintage, but it's still very young to estimate it, yeah, because it's.
Neither, I don't think the 17, 18, but like now too young to estimate if you have all these notes that we're waiting on our style of Châteauneuf-du-Pape. But basically the 15 you have, the 16 are like two very amazing vintages. The 16 is much more, let's say, fruity and fresh, and the 16 is much more complex in different strats and different notes. You're gonna find more blackcurrant on the 15, much more sugary fruit, red fruit, like cherry things on the. You see how these two wines can be like made pretty much the same, but how the vine make the difference where they grow.
This is more opulent, more creamy side. Yeah. You feel because the single estate age for 12 to 18 months in Burgundy oak. A third of the oak are new, and the other 2/3 like are from one year filling or 2 years filling. So we try to not have too much new oak in for the recipe of aging for the Domaine Barbille, because what we're looking here is to soften the tannins, get less aggressive tannins, round it, and have a better conservation of the wine in bottle. We're not looking for toasting the wine or giving vanilla profile. It's not what we're looking for. So That's why we only use a third new oak. That's it.
Yeah, it's very important. Like, the vinification is something like basically where the vine are, in which type of soil, when you harvest, how you maturate them, like new oak, old oak, like electric tank, like infrared, and after like the pairing and Cyril and Madame Brotte, they are trying to do a wine, as we say at the beginning, which is the most natural possible, like based on the fruit, based on freshness, but based on exactly something familial and natural
and easygoing.
and easygoing. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's
We
it.
have tasted everything.
Yeah, we taste the Domaine Barville, the last one, which is the family estate, like we mentioned previously. We only produce 3,000 cases of this one, so that's not a lot. And the Eau de Barville will produce, depends on the vintage, about 6,000 to 8,000 cases a year, every vintage. I mean, so small production, niche products, and obviously very open wines to drink it now, but with fantastic and powerful potential aging. Have you some questions?
Absolutely. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to go ahead and punch those into the chat. At this point, actually, if you want to, if you're interested, you can go ahead and unmute and just ask your question yourself if you'd like. And we, while we're waiting for a couple people to potentially ask some questions, I did want to mention a couple quick things to you. Is that number one, Domaine Barville Brotte has offered a great special today. They're going to be auctioning or raffling off, today for one of the participants. They're giving away a Magnum of the Domaine Barville, which will be shipped in to us, and shout out to you in your next order for the winner. And we are going to be running a special only for participants that are here today for a fantastic price for just the Domaine Barville. We have the 2015 and the 2016 both in stock. So either vintage, and we'll include those in any back orders taken today or tomorrow only. And that will be for the Domaine Barville Châteauneuf-du-Pape. And that special price is going to be $336 per case, and that's a 12-pack. And that will, again, only be available to participants today. So really great little offer there. And all the wines are available. And, of course, they're available online with dsdlink.com, which is our online portal for taking your orders, which is just started September 1st and is now available for all of our customers to use. And you can see a lot of cool things on there. But are there any questions? I have no questions in chat. I'm going to go ahead and cancel the spotlight here. And if you want to hit gallery.
Too clear. We were too good. There are no questions. They understood everything.
I agree. Well, fantastic. If there are no questions, I'm going to thank everyone for coming today. I think it has been an outstanding presentation. The ability to be able to tour through Harvest 2020 in Châteauneuf-du-Pape is something that I've never done ever before, and it was great to have that happen today.